Sami, just on the Middle East again, the Israeli Prime Minister said today there is significant progress in releasing the hostages and the ceasefire. Does the State Department share his view? And also I want to ask you about the 20 people who have been killed today around distribution center. Last briefing, I believe you said that the Israelis are investigating that. I'm just wondering how these people who have been killed daily now, not one day passes without people being killed around this food distribution center. How can they get their food safely?
Well, of course, that is exactly what we've all been working on, right, is getting food and aid safely in. We also know that the UN had a horrible dynamic where they had flour that they report was stolen by Hamas, and that the problems, and as I've said regularly, we all know it's a war zone. It's a war zone led by terrorists who don't care about humanity or the future. Regarding what's happening on the ground there, I would refer you to the IDF in Israel, which continues, of course, to investigate. And in the case of what's being led by the IDF in Israel there, I think that's where you'd need to go in that regard. And there was a third part. What was this?
Talking about the significant progress that Netanyahu is talking about today.
Yes. Well, again, I can't speak to what the Prime Minister has said.
Is he sharing anything with you, the State Department?
I can't speak to that at this point when it comes to what Netanyahu has said. Saeed, yes, and this will be the end for this particular stretch of questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very kindly.
Sure.
Just to follow up on the questions that were raised on the two-state solution and so on.
Sure.
Now, we know that President Trump in his first term came up with the deal of the century, which spoke almost in details about his vision. Let me ask you this. Now, there are 5.5 million Palestinians between Gaza and the West Bank. And I want to ask you, if there is no position of the State Department at this time, because the State Department is always...
What I said was I was not going to speak about the issue. I did not say there was no position, sir.
Okay, all right.
Be very careful, because I'm not going to have you put on the record something that is entirely not true.
Okay.
And I want you to proceed with that in mind.
Okay, I take it back. I wanted to ask you, what do you consider the Palestinians in the West Bank? I mean,
I will not provide to you, Mike, what
are
I
they
consider.
under occupation?
We are not going to, I will not, look, it was nice to be able to call on you, Saeed. I'd like to be able to have a question that I can answer, but you're asking me to speculate.
Okay.
I would say, I will just reiterate as we move on to another issue, is that President Trump is a man who understands and is working, really is committed these 5-6 months to being a peacemaker and to changing things that people have not been able to change for half a century. And he is determined to do it. He cares about everybody. He cares about the people of Gaza. He cares about the Israelis. He cares about Jews. He cares about Christians. This is a man who genuinely is determined to make a difference as an individual. This is a very fluid situation. He wants solutions. He wants to make sure that people can live safely in the world. And we've seen him time and time again make different decisions, have consultations, talk to people nobody thinks he should talk to. He can change his mind. He's clearly transparent, speaking about what he's going through and thinking each day. So when we think about what the future will look like, it's allow us to do the work that we're doing right now, focusing on the ceasefire, getting aid into that region, and let the president, who's determined to deal with all of the issues in that region, come to the fore of what happens next, and we will learn that only from Donald Trump.